Charleston White. Yeah, come on. This you know what I mean? Chat we got to confront and we got to handle everything appropriately. I seen some people, I don't know if y'all thought I was like ducking sharp like, bro, y'all got to understand it's big act, my nigga. I
Yo, Mac,
love
you there, bro?
I love the bullshit.
What's
China,
good?
China Mac, what's good, brother?
What's going on? How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty well. Um I felt like it was
I
important
heard
to
you. I heard you summon me, bruh.
no, I definitely did because you
Yes,
know
sir.
it's always better to talk to the people than talk about them, and we keep doing the telephone tag of I say something, you say something, you know what I mean? So because I wanted to have a conversation, you know, you clearly know what's going on. So basically, this is my and you could ask any question. This is a mutual conversation. Fuck if it's my stream. This is us talking. Okay, so you and Charleston White have an issue. I'm not too sure where the full issue came from. I have
It
watched a
came from
bunch of.
Matt Hoffa.
Okay, so it came from. All right, hold on. Give me the origin on it. You give me the origin. Go ahead.
So basically, Matt Hoffa. He made a video about Matt Hoffa's daughter when I was on live stream. Somebody mentioned it. I made a response saying, I don't fuck with Matt Hoffa. You know what I'm saying? Me and him ain't eye to eye. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if we ever be eye to eye, but I'm not jacking that. You know what I'm saying? You gonna talk about people in the city's daughters and shit like that. We not gonna we not gonna go for that. So I said, nah, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? And then he made a response, but instead of just responding to me, he responded to, my whole like my whole race. You know what I'm saying? Like the women and children. I'm sure you heard that, right? You heard his rant?
Yeah, no, yeah. The part I heard was really objectionable, and was very, out of bounds. I'll say that. Um, yeah, but so you're saying that you basically said that, hey, yo, you called him out for mentioning, or speaking about Math Hoffa's daughter, and immediately he just start getting on your entire race.
Exactly.
Okay. Now you're probably gonna have to help me with the timeline of this because I've tried to do a little bit more research on it, and what I think I heard him say that him and you may have had issues before. Is that true or no?
Yeah, we had. I mean, we talked like we went back and forth like this like 2 years ago, something like that. He said the same shit. He said the same shit. He said this time the same shit he said last time.
All right. And by the way, I heard you ask this question, so I'll answer the question to you. You know, clearly, I do not approve of. I do not co-sign. I am not in the. This is nothing that revolves around any platform or any mental thoughts of mine about Asian hate. That's just clearly not something that we have on our agenda, right? Now, I will say though, every man I believe has their own opinion, right? So if you were wondering if I was with it, I'm not with any type of hate towards any group. Now, I want to ask you this question because while I definitely denounce what he says about Asians, do you believe that that is only propelled by his hate or his issues with you, or do you think it's a bigger issue?
It's a bigger issue because he was saying this before me. He was saying this when he was just talking about Johnny Dang. So like this is bigger than me. He's saying this to everybody, all Asian people.
Mm. Yeah.
So now my question to you is, I listen. You know what I mean? I don't think that you're somebody that condones this type of rhetoric. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you have a brand, and I feel like although we might not be in agreement to a lot. I definitely don't think that you would co-sign something like that. That you would That's why it was kind of shocking to me to see that even after the stuff that he said, you still, push forward with the show, cause it's like You know what I mean? Not only did he talk about, not only did he talk about Math Hoffa's daughters and stuff, but he talked about a whole race of people that has nothing to do with nothing. And he's promoting rape with not just Asian people, but children, women, period. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's like that's speech that shouldn't be promoted. That speech that shouldn't be that should be denounced. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm not saying for you not to do business with him, but what I'm saying is when he's making a speech like this and you bring him on and you put your name next to it, it just seems like you you co-sign that you don't have a problem with that speech. You know what I'm saying?
No, no, that's a valid point. And if you ask me, right, because so in communication with his team, and yes, he does have a team. Um, they sent me comedy shows he's done before. They're like, hey, he sold out this, he did this, he did this, and I'm looking at it. Shoot, there's even like videos of him doing comedy. I'm gonna be honest with you, none of those videos involved any blatant hatred to any group. And when I mean any group, I'm really saying any group. Also, it didn't promote any type of rape, no type of pedophilia, nothing of the sort. Now, that's exactly why I say, you know what? Well, yo, he's someone who has issues with people. Of course, I don't agree if he has an issue with you. I don't even know what his issue would be, with Johnny Dang. Johnny Dang's a cool ass motherfucker, but still, if he has an issue with you or Johnny Dang, I don't know. I do believe it's his style to just kind of go against whatever he could feel like you fit within, whatever. Just like I do believe, and I remember at a point. And by the way, this might seem like I'm like copping a plea or coping, but I'm just telling you exactly how I feel, right? So I remember there was a point that it felt like me and him were gonna go back and forth. And honestly, I'm pretty sure he would have said, man, fuck all Jamaicans and fuck all fat niggas. I don't believe that's necessarily his thought, but it's when he's going at people, he usually just try to say the most harmful things that could probably affect that person. I don't agree with, and I don't think he should. I've told him this, and I've said this to his team. I said, yo, if you beef with China Mac, you can say anything about China Mac, right? Within reason, obviously. Like, I don't know if you have kids or anything. Like, that should be out of bounds. But you could say whatever to China Mac. You don't have to, just like if China Mac said, man, because me and Charleston White are into it, man, fuck all y'all niggas. That would be completely out of bounds too. So
Absolutely.
I believe that was a online back and forth sparring thing. And my thing is, I'm not inheriting his beefs. So, I think Matt Hoff is a really cool dude. Me and you, I don't think we have any problems. But whatever his issues are with y'all, I'm not gonna get in there and like try to politic it. Even though I definitely disagree with the mere fact that he tries to extrapolate to audiences that's just bigger than you, right? Like, if you got it, like, and this is my opinion, if he has a problem with China Mac, attack China Mac. You could make fun of him in any type of way, but leave the racial component out of it. What do you believe, and where do you draw the line in the terms of, because you identify with being very cultural as well. Where do you draw the line between, okay, I'm into it with a motherfucker and he might do or say anything, versus hate speech? Because I think that's kind of where we're at. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, like you said, if he would have just focused on me, and then it wouldn't be an issue. But when he's talking about, see, he has a large following. You know what I'm saying? You have a large following. He has a large following. So now when you guys collaborate like this, that's a huge following. You know what I'm saying? And so there's a lot of people that may be following him and maybe following you that don't have the capacity to think like you and I, that
okay,
might be having some mental issues. You know what I mean? Some mental health issues. Somebody that just that might be just not able to like comprehend what is real and what is fake, what is entertainment and what is not. You know what I'm saying? I don't necessarily think that Charleston White, what he says, is his actual views. It might be just all entertainment. You know what I'm saying? But there's a lot of people out there that don't know how to discern what is real and what is fake. You know what I'm saying? What is entertainment and what is not. And that would and I made a post on my Instagram yesterday, and that post, well, it was very triggering to a lot of people, and I understand why it would be triggering to a lot of people, but I made that post really, for you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, okay, for you, because it's like, when we are irresponsible with who we attach ourselves to, right, we can also bring, whether we agree with it or not, we can give validity, we can give more power, more power to certain type of speech. You know what I'm saying? So now when you align with him like that, and then when that happens, and you heard what he said about all the people in New York City, what he said about Math Hoffa's daughter, and what he said about all Chinese people, all Asian people. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that you didn't come out. I mean, I was just looking for academics to say, you know what, this show is, this show, we can't have Charleston White on because he's saying stuff that I don't agree with. You know what I'm saying? That the companies that are aligned with me don't agree with. Absolutely. So, let's not do that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I was looking for. I was hoping that I would see that from academics, because I would just think that that would be a little more, just more professional, more, just more a human. You know what I'm saying? More like on a human level. You feel me?
Okay, and I think that's a valid point. So, I'll say this to you, and I said it before you got on here. Um, Number one, I never agree with anyone on the majority of things they say. Put it like this: would I have Kanye West on my stream? Yes. Would I interview Kanye West? Yes. Would I stand by and platform him slandering the Jewish people? No. Um,
Well, would you do a show with him right now where where he could probably go on there and talk about Jewish, whatever stuff?
if I was going to do a show with Kanye, it would be understood that this show would have nothing or would have no correlation with you adding to the disrespect or the denigration of any other group. Same with Charleston White. Like, if Charleston White tells me, like, yo, I'm only coming there to, like, make fun of Asian people, I'll cancel myself. That's a fact. Again, I've never seen him do comedy himself, but I have seen videos of him doing comedy. The comedy isn't hateful. The comedy is just old school Southern humor. I believe when he beefs with niggas, he reaches for, and again, I'm not saying I agree with it, he reaches for the most triggering thing to get someone out of character. You get what I mean? So I don't agree with it, but I don't believe he
Yeah,
would have came to
but
that
all
venue.
right, but I understand that. But then, do you not see the effects that this type of stuff can have on people? Do you not see the how it can encourage people to do something that you wouldn't agree with?
No, of course. And by the way, that's why I also added to say, there was clearly a significant. By the way, I know there's a narrative like, yo, you call the police or whatever on him. That's not true. I've already debunked that. But there were people of Asian descent that had some issue and cause of worry, and I think that's all legitimate. And I'm not here sitting back saying, "Oh man, the show is canceled because of China Mac." Is like, no, like, shoot, there are people who support me who are Asian who are like, "Yo, act like I love you and I've supported you for 10 years," but I gotta ask, if do you feel the same way about Asian people? Which I don't. You get what I mean? So just that alone is probably enough to just say, "Yo, the show, in even if he wasn't gonna do any of that, is clouded with a mirror of it's clouded with just kind of hate, and also just encouraging people to, you know, do or say things against any race of people that we're just not for. But um, that aside, I guess I'm trying to get to some type of, or maybe if I can possibly I can't even get to it, medium between you and him, because I don't believe he's, and I could be wrong on this. I don't believe like he just genuinely just has a problem with all Asian people. I think he just tries to say anything against the person he doesn't like. Like I even heard him with the Math Hoffa shit. I heard him double down on the daughter shit when he claimed he never knew he had a daughter. So how could you say something hateful about someone's kids when you never knew they had a kid? But he's the person
I mean,
who
I understand that, but still, like, how? Okay, even if he was just doing that, like, you know what I mean? Like, just I think just that alone, like talking about raping people's kids, children, is like, you know what I mean? That's just like some crazy, like that. That's something that's sick. You know what I mean? That's something sick, and that shouldn't be repeated, and it should be immediately like. It should be immediately outed. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking to out him. You know what I mean? But that type of talk can never be accepted. And us, you being a content creator, us, and you also being a major staple in hip hop right now. I feel like you have the responsibility to like really stop certain things. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like you have the ability to stop certain things, and because and because you're not, because you didn't do it, it could have resulted into something that's that doesn't need to happen. You know what I'm saying? On all aspects. You feel me? Because he's talking about raping children and kids, bro. Like I just don't understand. You know what I mean? That type of talk should never, ever, ever be like, you know, be just glossed over. You know what I'm saying?
uh again I give some validity to what you're saying. No, I don't think no one's here, definitely not me, would sit here and even have a reasonable or even entertain the conversation of when Charleston mentions anything about kids. You get what I mean? Now, that is not what we support, clearly, and we're not trying to platform anyone to spread those ideals, right?
Yeah, but your response initially, it just made me feel like I didn't really hear you say that in your response. I was looking for it. You know what I'm saying? I was
No,
looking
no, no,
for it,
no.
and
Of
you
course,
was like, "Oh, I mean, you could have said it somewhere else because you do a lot of content that I'm not following everything, but I did see a clip where you was reacting. You were kind of giving everybody the update on the show being canceled and whatnot, and your response was that, hey, the politicians canceled it. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
If it was me, basically, it would still be going. And I just felt like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, if it was if the shoe was on the other foot, I don't feel like I just. If there was an Asian person that was saying all this stuff about black people, I don't know if you would still like let that person. I don't know if you would have said, "Yo, if the politicians ain't shutting it down, I'm still letting it rock." I don't see that.
so, and by the way, I'm glad we're having this conversation. It's very civil and it's also very logical as well. Um, when I seen that clip, I'll tell you exactly what I felt. Number one, I didn't agree with it.
Crazy.
Yo. Well. So, what I really wanted to get to, but it looked like this shit's gonna just fuck it up. That I can't even. I wanted to get to this point, right? Um, I almost feel like that's not even possible. Like, if you ask me, I think that China Mac and Charleston White being able to sit down and like, I think anytime Charleston White disrespect, Charleston White was disrespecting Biggie and DMX. Like, come on, you don't know nothing about Biggie and DMX. It's clearly someone who, even in his whatever age he is, he still uses the insults of people who are severely frustrated, who say, "Yo, fuck your dead people, fuck this, fuck that, fuck that, fuck that, whatever, whatever." But he is someone that people are parsing content and information from. Like, so no matter what he says, there's gonna be a group of people that says, nah, Charleston be spitting. So it's not as easy just to say, oh, just banish him. Because people are always going to rock with him in the sense of they feel like he's legit in certain things he says. So when you can't get rid of someone, the only other way to deal with them is to talk to them rather than talk against them or hoping that they're just banished by censoring. So that's the point where I was like, yo, listen, I'm with
Yeah,
China Mac.
I don't think he. I mean, I'm not looking to banish.
You back,
I'm
Bob?
not looking to. Hello.
Yeah, yeah, I can hear.
Yeah, I'm not looking to ban him. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, I feel like that's not what I'm trying to do. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can't speak for other people, but I'm just talking about myself. You know what I mean? I do feel like, I do feel like a conversation with someone like that, it would do more, would do more justice than harm. You know what I'm saying? Especially if we're gonna, but I don't know if that'll happen. I'm not sure, but I'm not opposed to that, and I think that as long as he's, you know what I'm saying, like he fixes what he's saying, you know what I'm saying, then I feel like a conversation could be had that would be that would bring immense value to everybody, you know what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to it, but I don't know if it'll happen, you know what I mean.
Yeah, so by the way, I think that's my disposition towards it, right? Like, clearly, and this is not, obviously, the root of like what kind of got a lot of stuff like in motion was, some targeted, Asian hate. But whether it's any particular group or whether it's even talking about kids or whatever the case is, I do think there should be a particular conversation. If you can't get rid of a motherfucker, you need to know how to somehow figure out a way to deal with them or a way to, live in spite of them. And the unfortunate thing, and shit, I would say this to Charleston too. Like, Charleston's a person, yeah, when I heard him say that, I think it was wild ignorant. Yeah. But did I also have I listened to him say many things? I'm like, wow, that's kind of very thoughtful. It seems like you have a train of thought that could, be discussed in a more nuanced perspective. Yes. And would I hope that something like that could be productive? Yes. Now, granted, I'm not trying to suggest necessarily that after somebody has wished all type of atrocities on a particular group, you'll be like, oh, no, yeah, I'm down to talk to them. But I would hope that to further this, because what happens with people like Charleston White, and I also tell people about people like Andrew Tate, the more you attempt to silence them, the stronger they grow. You know what I mean? You could only battle people with, you got to battle those people with ideals. You got to battle them with with actually ideology, and you got to battle them with ideas. You can't battle them by saying, "Hey, listen." The more they get quieted, they get to spin off by saying, "Yo, you see, I was right. They're trying to shut me down." So I hope something good could come out of this. Obviously, um, you know, we're not trying to encourage no type of hate towards nobody, but also I do believe that at the end of the day, I really think this is a Charleston and China Mac issue, and it shouldn't be about race. And whatever issues they have, it should be able to be debated. What you think, China Mac?
No, I agree. I agree. Like, I would never bring in a whole race, if I have an issue with someone. You know what I'm saying? That just wouldn't be, that wouldn't be something that I would use. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like even though he has said some crazy stuff about, what I mean, my people, city, myself, I wouldn't be opposed to sit down with him because I see I see how much it would help. You know what I'm saying? So I would put my pride and all of my ego and all that other shit to the side to try to have a conversation with somebody like this uh so we could kind of get to the bottom of what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Because I just feel like if he's, I just feel like that type of speech, not just towards Asian people now, but that type of speech that he does, period, when it's talking about innocent women and children and stuff like that, I don't think that that should be allowed, period. Like, I don't think anybody should feel comfortable saying stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of their race or ethnicity or whatever, creed or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, I do feel like, we could have a conversation. Maybe we could, maybe we can't. But, I'm not opposed to it just because he said what he said. You know what I'm saying?
All right, so give me obviously people are just hoping there is a resolution and there's a bigger picture and there's a net positive out of this. If you could create a net positive out of this, what would happen? Like, just tell me the steps of what would happen.
A positive,
Yeah.
we sit down and have a conversation.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? We sit down and have a conversation and we could talk about all the things that he has issues with Asian people. We could sit down and talk about all of that. But I think we should have a civilized conversation where you know where we can kind of put everything on the table and analyze it and see what's up. You know what I'm saying?
All right. No, I get it. Now I'm gonna ask you one devil's advocate question. So there's a devil's advocate question that says, "Yo, China Mac is probably happy that this is a race conversation because if it was just only about them personally, he wouldn't want to have to engage with Charleston."
I would have had to engage with Charleston.
No, they're saying that you wouldn't want to engage with him if there wasn't, clearly if somebody's dissing your race, that's just bigger than anything to do with you. They're saying if it was just you and him, like having a conversation about whatever differences y'all had without the overtone of, hey, you disrespected an entire race of people, they feel like you wouldn't be that interested in that or care about it.
No, why? I mean, why wouldn't I? I mean, here's the thing, right? Regardless of what, like he what if he was just talking about me and not no Asian, like if he wasn't talking about Asian
Mm-hmm.
people
Yeah.
and he was just coming at me,
Only you. Yeah.
yeah, I would have a conversation with him. Why not? Why wouldn't I have a conversation with him? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not ducking no conversation with nobody. I'm not ducking nothing from nobody. Like, you know what I'm saying?
All right. I keep seeing my audience bringing up. They're like, well, China Mac also said the N word, and he said nigga before, and we could have the same energy for him, but we don't. Why does he feel like Charleston was attacking his entire race? What do you feel about that?
All right. Well, first of all, I haven't said that word in like maybe, I don't know, 7, 6 years. You know what I'm saying? Nobody has ever actually heard me say the word. Y'all never heard me say it in no YouTube video. Y'all never heard me say it in any music. Y'all only saying that because I had a conversation on Vlad about how I used to say it when I was in prison. You know what I'm saying? So people automatically think that, I still use it. I don't use it. I haven't used it since I came out of prison. And when I was in prison, I was surrounded by all black people, and I used to say that word all the time. You know what I mean? Nobody ever had an issue with it except for one person, one Muslim brother, and he's the one that made me kind of change my opinion on using the word. But nobody had ever had an issue with it because it was never came from a spot where it was racist or it was from hate. It was a word that I learned from black people with dealing with directly with black people. I didn't learn that word listening to hip hop or watching TV. I learned that word when that word was used around me, towards me, or like, so when I learned that word, it didn't have a negative connotation. It didn't have a hateful connotation. You know what I'm saying? So once I realized that there are people out there that have an issue with a person like me using the word, then I decided to stop using the word myself. There wasn't a petition for me to stop using it. There wasn't an outcry about it. China Mac, stopped using the word myself. Now, with that being said, there's a big difference, right, with using a word that is that it's a part of music, it's a part of like American culture, if you say so. Like if a person isn't educated, a person doesn't know what that word truly, like, what kind of merit that word holds with certain people. You know what I'm saying? Like people in New York look at that word differently than somebody say in south and down south. You know what I mean? So me as a person that never left New York, prior to that, I didn't have an understanding of how those words would impact somebody. But that word is a lot different than saying I'm gonna rape and kill women and children of a certain ethnicity, of a certain race. You know what I'm saying? There's something totally different. You can't compare that. That's just like, what I'm saying. We're talking about a word that, everybody. We're talking about a word that was used very loosely around me. That was the word that people like people called me it, called it. I didn't know. I didn't understand. But now, as soon as I understood how much merit it holds, I stopped saying it. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay, and so I'm just going off the question in the chat. So someone also says, well, I guess they're trying to say you have privilege in a sense because they're like, okay, Math Hoffa, who is African American, yes, his daughter was mentioned, but he that doesn't get people to rally about what was said about him or what may be denigrating to him or his family or his people. However, as soon as he speaks about the Asian community, that seems to be the thing that triggers everything. And I guess you're using that in terms of privilege for you to say, well, if you could say the word nigga and nothing kind of happened to you, in the sense of like you're
Yeah,
not
but
having
I
stuff.
never. You can't say that because I never used the word in this space. Nobody ever heard me use the word. So how can anybody say that when nothing would happen to me? I mean, nobody ever heard me say the word. So how can you discern if something would if it would have affected me or not?
Mm. Do you do you what's your reaction to when obviously people then take the extreme and they try to paint you out or they use the word like you're trying to capitalize on black culture, they say culture vulture. What do you think about that?
All right, so let me answer both questions that you. Let me talk about both of those questions you said. Right now, remember, man, like this situation started because of Math Hoffa.
Mm-hmm.
Because I saw that he said that Charleston White said something about Math Hoffa's daughter, so I reacted. You know what I mean? And that's me as a person, as a human being, as a person that would never let any harm come to children, regardless of ethnicity, race, belief, anything. You know what I'm saying? Like I would never ever I would die before I would allow anybody to cause harm to children. You know what I'm saying? So that first, you know what I'm saying? And then also my city, a person that's talking down on my city, and he's about to come to the city. I said something about it. You know what I'm saying? But so now it started not because of Asian stuff. It started because of Math Hoffa, his daughters, and they are black, right? So now what I'm saying is when he made that statement, that was a personal statement. You know what I'm saying? That was a statement
Mm-hmm.
not towards all black people or all like whatever people. He didn't single out like a group of people. He made it personal, and that was personal with him. So if that was something that personally he could have, whatever he wanted to do. I don't know what he was trying. I don't know if he would shut the show down, but I'm pretty sure if he wanted to, he could have had a whole movement on that to get it shut down. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't take those measures. I didn't take those measures either, but the people that were watching, they took the measures. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, definitely I think that he should have been canceled with the first thing that he said when he talked about, all the stuff that when he talked about children, rape, the first time he said it. I don't know. I think any of that stuff, he should have been, it should have been an issue at that moment. But like I'm not watching all of his content. I don't know when he's saying that, and you know what I'm saying. Like
He somehow
I don't.
pumps out a
It
lot
didn't
of
catch
content.
me, and
I
it
hear you
didn't
on that.
probably catch the Asian people that had an issue with it because they don't know what's they don't watch Charleston White. They don't know that he's saying all of this hateful stuff to people's kids and stuff. This is the first time they have even heard of Charleston White. You know what I'm saying? Because of what they said about the Asian people. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of unfair to say, oh well, how come you guys didn't make a stink about it when it was about us? You know what I'm saying? Well, a lot of people follow that content.
No, I completely understand. Hey, do you and again, I'm just reading like chat questions and stuff. Do you? They're saying, do you acknowledge that you have some privilege? I guess they feel like it's privilege in the fact of, if someone says something about you, like for example, if Charleston White has said, "You black ugly motherfucker," Math Hoffa, probably nothing
But
happens.
he's black though. He's black.
Okay, okay. But
So so
do you
so
think you
I
have any
mean,
privilege though?
huh?
Do you think you have any privilege while being in hip hop, dealing with the majority of people who are African American?
No, I don't. Because if I was to say something about African Americans, what kind of privilege would I get?
Okay, that's a good point.
I want
Like,
to
if
ask
I was to come
Prince.
out and say half of what he said, a quarter of what he said, I mean, would I be exemplified? Like, you know what I'm saying? What would I be given? I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah, yeah,
That's a
yeah,
good point. That's a good point. Who's that? Is that facts?
yeah, yeah, it's facts.
What's up?
Yo, Matt, question, right? Do you feel like Charleston White really hate Asians?
No, I mean, I personally, I don't know. I don't know what to feel. You know what I mean? I never met him. I never looked in his eyes. I never shook his hand. So I don't know what to feel. You know what I'm saying? But there's a good possibility that he doesn't feel like that. You know what I'm saying? And and I feel like that's even more like it's like you don't even believe in it, and you got people, you trying to you rallying people up on this type of time, and you don't even believe it. Like you know what I mean?
Mm. No, I get it. No, I mean, so okay, and I see your combo. I see you said that. Somebody said, "Well, Charleston White is a comedian, and this kind of like his comments, even though clearly racist, falls under comedian licensing, where we've seen comedians kind of say things about various groups, and people be like, oh, that's just somebody trying to make a joke. How did it feel when you heard it?
I didn't find anything comedic about it. I didn't hear a comedic tone. Um, I didn't hear anything that was funny about it. You know what I mean? So I understand how people trying to brush that off, like, oh, whatever, and that's why I made that post because it's like, okay, you trying to brush that off like he's being a troll, but let's understand that he was coming to perform in New York City, right? Like New York City is the place where a lot of tension between a lot of these attacks were happening, and this is where that bill started, and this is
Mm-hmm.
where there's a lot of stuff going on in New York City with Asian people and like with that whole relationship. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that was a place where he was going and he was talking like that. That was like a place that has been like directly affected. If, the most in all over the place. I would assume. You know what I'm saying? So of course it's gonna have a different sting. You know what I'm saying? Like imagine like if that was the other way around. I just want everybody to understand. Imagine if it was the other way around. If it was a white person, an Asian person, or whatever person, instead of that, and not black person, and they said what Charleston White said about black people. You know what I'm saying? Like, how would that be? Would that be glossed over in that way? Like, oh, he's just a comedian.
I mean,
I don't think so.
I
You
mean,
know what I
it,
mean? I
Adam
don't
is
think
in a
anybody in this
different
chat. I don't think
person.
anybody in this chat would gloss over that. Like, oh, he's just a comedian. If a person that was not black made all of these
hey,
comments about
hey,
black people and these
hey,
threats and you know what I'm saying this rhetoric. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like, I feel
By
like
the way,
nobody in here would let it ride.
and by the way, China Mac, no, I agree with you. I'll say this though, and this is the overtone of what I'm seeing, like people constantly comment at this point. I feel like they're not agreeing with what he said. They don't feel any hatred to, what I mean, Asian Americans or just Asian people in general. But what I'm starting to see, like, because I see the same comments just like in different ways, it feels like they're almost saying, "Yo, Asian people are more protected than us. They got a bill, they got this. Like people tolerate less disrespect because they're Asian. We're black. We get disrespected every way. Like people could say anything and it's just, oh, my bad, and nothing happens." And I guess maybe that's why they were asking me about the privilege shit, because it feels like a lot of African Americans are feeling like they're the least protected group, right? Like, the LGBTQ IA plus community. You say something about them, you're not performing for a long time. You say something about the Jewish community, you're losing your bank account. And I think they're like, yo, well, the Asian conglomerate or the Asian people, they clearly could make shit shake if they're offended. But if you offend someone that is black, so I guess it's bigger than Charleston White. I think people just, they're looking at their own group and say, why don't we have the same type of, power, right? What do you think?
Right. I mean, and listen, if I could relate to that. You know what I'm saying? I can understand that. I can understand why people would have an issue with that. It's like, well, damn, like we've been going through this shit. We've been going through like, you know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
now all of a sudden they get a hate bill and they get all that, and like, you know what I'm saying? And it looks like and it looks like, that hate bill is just focused on one group of people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? So it like they're or like that bill is kind of like designated to affect the black community type shit. You know what I'm saying? So, of course. So with that being said, I 100% understand that. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna say I don't, agree. You know what I'm saying? But you have to look at it like you have to look at it in all ways. You know what I'm saying? Like there won't be no understanding if we don't try to take a look at it, the other way. You know what I'm saying? Like a different angle. You know what I mean? On the other person's side. You know what I'm saying? So
I
like
agree.
as long with the Asian shit, right? With the Asian bill and shit like that, like I don't know how much that has actually helped with the crimes, with the attacks on Asian people, because there's constantly being attacks. Now I don't know what these attacks are about. Like it's a whole, it could be a whole bunch of things. You know what I'm
Whoa,
saying?
whoa, whoa, whoa,
But
whoa, whoa,
now,
whoa.
but
I have a
Hold on,
question.
hold
I
on,
have a
hold on. Wait,
question.
wait, 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 wait,
China
wait,
Mac,
wait.
how do you feel?
No, no, hold
China
on.
Mac,
Wait,
how do
wait,
you
wait,
feel
wait,
that the
wait.
last three mass shootings were done by Asian people,
No,
bro?
no, 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 no. Wait. Hold on a second. Wow, you just blindsided us. Hold on. Give me a second. Well, according to Charleston White, right? He claims that the FBI, made an inquiry or detained him and maybe did a search of whatever because, you know, um, because of allegations of what he might be planning or what he may be doing to Asian people, clearly made the federal government hop into action. While I guarantee right now you call somebody and be like, yo, they shooting up in O Block, ain't nobody doing a motherfucking thing, right? So
that's true. But see, here's the thing, right? But here's the thing. I understand that. I understand, like, yo, how is it that these people get these type of privileges, and we don't see none of that. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know how to respond to that because I'm not the one that's giving out the privileges. You know what I'm
mhm.
saying? I'm not the one that's, it's not Asian people that are in these places, that in the White House or whatever. I don't, you know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is, I mean, check this out, right? Let's just all put all of our feelings and emotions and our prejudices to the side, right? And let's just look at what's really going on in this world, right? You know what I'm saying? And let's just take a look at where China is right now in this world, where US is in this world, and let's see how, and also let's take a look how all of a sudden within these past couple years, like the tension between Asian people and the black community, you know what I'm saying, has increased like a lot. You know what I'm saying? It's increased a lot, like to the point where it's like, wow, me all these years that have been on this earth, you know what I'm saying? I never felt this type of tension. You know what I'm saying? And between the two communities, you know what I'm saying? It's getting to the point where it's like, it's a lot of back and forth. It's a lot of tension. It's a lot of conversations that need to be had. It's a lot of static. You know what I'm saying? And I've never seen it like this before. So you know, I just want people to understand why all of a sudden, people are so upset at Asian people. Like, have we? Like, I don't know. Like, why all of a sudden? Why all of a sudden? Because when we talk about Asian people opening up stores in Black communities, right? I 100% agree with Black people saying, hey, you guys are coming into our communities. You guys are opening up these restaurants. You guys are feeding us this type of food or whatever, whatever. And you guys don't even respect me. You don't respect my money. You don't respect the community. You never even look at us. You never even like you just pretend we're not even there. You're just there for the money. You know what I'm saying? I understand that. I 100% understand that. And I 100% would say, hey, y'all absolutely right. Y'all absolutely right. If an Asian person, if a Chinese person has a store in the hood and they not respecting the neighborhood, they not respecting the people, then respectfully, they need to get the out. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not respecting the neighborhood and you're not respecting the people that you are like servicing to and creating business with, then I feel like, we should have but here's the thing, it's not only Asian people in these neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? It's not just Asian people. Like, it's when you go in the hood, you don't just see Chinese stores. You see a Chinese store, you see a Jewish store, you see a Spanish store, you see a Middle Eastern store, you see all types of stores. You know what I'm saying? So why is it that it's so like? Why is the Asian people so like so focused in right now? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are we getting the blunt of this? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because if you
That's a
look at
great
it, it's not
question.
just Asian people that's doing that. I've never seen like a Jewish person or a Middle Eastern person or Indian person you know what I mean, do a lot for the community. I don't know, maybe it happens, but I've never seen it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, the Asian people are doing that, but it's not just the Asian people, you know what I'm saying? And for people to just put the spotlight on Asian people and say, "Oh, you guys are like the culprits of this." It's like, yo, we only doing what we giving. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Asian people coming here from different countries. If the government is giving, you know what I mean? Why would and I feel like a lot of this shit is used so we can start bickering amongst each other. Well, okay, keep these people down. Let these people do some shit and cause resentment and shit. Like, I feel like a lot of this stuff is not even between Asian and Black people. It's like caused by other things, and we're just pitted. We're just pitted against each other for
Hey,
this. You know what I'm saying?
China Max. So, and by the way, I think you're right on that. You know, what I mean, there's a lot more